be. Give me the power. I've asked from the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work for us.
So there you have President Biden. That's from a week or two ago. Give me the power. He's really angry. He's yelling. There's jet noise and everything. He's saying, give me the power. I need to do something with the border. And I'm just waiting on those silly Republicans in the House to give me the power. And we're going to go to our friend Joe Concha to ask, what kind of power is it that we are waiting for the president to receive? Fox News contributor, author of the book, Come On, Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. And I think there's another book coming out soon, too, Joe. Am I right on that?
That's right. It's called Progressively Worse. Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys.
Yeah.
We
got to do something about that by November. I need you to be writing great positive books about the president, although this guy keeps giving you the material. What kind of power is Joe Biden asking for there?
Oh, I could give him 94 pieces of power. They're called the executive orders and actions that he signed right after he went into office, reversing every Trump border policy and immigration policy that existed. And look, this Senate bill, any Republican senator that actually signs on to this, you are signing your death warrant, basically, as far as a career is concerned. Because to have a bill like this, Annie, and not have resumption of wall construction, to not remain in Mexico, to not eviscerate, catch and release, if those three things are not done, then everything else is BS. And don't tell me, well, we'll be reducing the number of crossings from 10,000 a day to 5,000 a day. Jay Johnson, who was a very capable Department of Homeland Security Secretary under Barack Obama, he has said that anything over 1,000 is a crisis. So we're going to settle for 5? This isn't how it should work. Republicans should not sign on to this. And if the media continues this utter BS as far as, well, they're just blocking the bill because they don't want to fix the problem because they want an issue in November. No, it's a crappy bill. And that's why you block it. And that's why Donald Trump is leading the charge on this. And I think the American people, if they actually are paying attention, would see that this is not going to solve anything, Annie.
Yeah, Joe Concha speaking with us right now, Fox News contributor. I'm looking at this bill going, what is even the point of this exercise? Because I guess Mitch McConnell had some to do with it, and then the senator from Oklahoma. But it isn't going to be something that the Republican Party can get behind because, A, the number one thing, as you articulated, it doesn't fix the problem. And B, politically, that's a great way to get rid of any possibility for a Senate majority come November. What is the point of what was put together here?
The point, I guess, was we'll do something. Right? We'll show we're doing something. It's so swamp-like. We'll show that we could work together to pass a bill to make a horrible situation at the border not so horrible. And we shouldn't settle for that in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just, the Senate Republicans that are negotiating on this, the three things I just listed, unless you're given those three or at least two of those three, then I walk away from the table. And that's the end of it. Because people will still blame Biden for the border because they see what's happened. This is now 3 years into this presidency. 10 million people have come into this country illegally. That's more than the total population of 41 states. I mean, think about that for a moment. So for Biden suddenly to say, give me the tools, I want to fix this. No. You don't get to do that now, and it will cost you your presidency. And by the way, poll just out. Let's see. NBC News has Biden as lowest approval rating at 37%. And Biden also trails Trump as far as who could better fix the border. Let's see, 57 to 22.
Whew, man.
All right. And if that's the number one issue, how do you win?
You've covered presidential elections. You follow polls. How much do you make? I was kind of reflecting off of Iowa. The polls were pretty spot on in how Iowa ended up turning out.
Yeah.
It looked like New Hampshire was, on the whole, pretty close too. Do you think that the polls going into November are something that voters can lean into that actually reflect the electorate?
All right, Annie, I want your listeners to now call me Professor Concha, all right?
Can do.
Teach a little class here. It's a very simple lesson on the itinerary. Now, here's the thing. Stop reporting national polls.
Yes.
They don't mean anything, right?
Swing states.
Swing states, exactly. So I want to know if Trump is leading in Georgia. And I'll just go through this Bloomberg Morning Consult poll that just came out. How's he doing in Georgia? Trump +8. How's Trump doing in North Carolina? Trump plus 13.
Whew.
How's Trump doing in Nevada? Trump plus 11. How's Trump doing in Arizona? Trump plus 8. How's Trump doing in Michigan? Trump plus 10. How's Trump doing in Wisconsin? Trump plus 8. How's Trump doing in Pennsylvania? Plus 3. So, okay, even if Biden takes Pennsylvania, if Donald Trump wins all those other states, you are looking at a landslide in essence. And even if he wins just a majority of those states, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, he is your next president. That's it. So everything else and all this analysis and look, Biden's up nationally by 2 points. Shut up. I don't care what people think in California, New York, and Illinois. I care what they think in those states I just listed, though, because they decide elections. Just ask Hillary Clinton.
Amen. Amen to that. We're speaking with Joe Concha. His book that has been out for a while, Come On Man, The Truth About Joe Biden's Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Presidency. And as he mentioned, he has one coming out soon as well. Some interesting parties coming out right now that are not really politicians or politicos so much, but they've leaned in politically to comment, and the border has been one of the issues that has caused this. Elon Musk certainly has continued down his march of being very vocally common sense kind of based on this idea that America is a good country and we should protect America, and there's some basic tenets to do that. And he has said out here recently that it is very obvious that the influx of migrants to this country are purposely being permitted so that Democrats can continue to retain power. It's a pretty bold statement. He's not the first person to say it. I wonder what your thoughts are on that philosophy.
Ooh, this is going to make me a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
Because if I say that this is all intentional to get more Democratic voters on the voter rolls, that makes me some sort of crazy person. No, it isn't. I mean, this has to be intentional. I mean, when you say surge the border as a candidate, as Joe Biden did in 2019, and then you appoint Kamala friggin' Harris as the border czar, the gal who compared ICE to the KKK, I have a feeling you're not going to solve the problem, or you have any interest in solving the problem. So this is what this is all about. They don't care what this is doing to municipal budgets like in New York City, where now they're cutting sanitation, education, NYPD budget getting slashed. Why? So legal people in this country, those who are born illegally, I should say, or came here legally, they don't get the protection that they would get otherwise if they were here illegally, where you're getting put up in fancy hotels and 3 meals a day and travel to wherever you want. And I can go on. And you know what? I think the defining moment of this campaign, when we look back on it, was that video that came out of New York last week where you have 2 New York City police officers being beaten right in Times Square. I walk through there every day when I go to Fox. And the fact that this was so brazenly done, and then they're released on bail by Alvin Bragg, the guy who has 34 felony counts against Donald Trump. And then they come out of that police station holding up not 1 but 2 middle fingers at the American people. I think people saw that and said, enough. We can't keep doing this anymore.
I agree with you. That picture is worth a huge political campaign donation to the opposite of whatever it is we're doing now. Here's some other names that I've seen bubble up, and these aren't raging Trump endorsements. I don't even know if they're 100% voting for Trump, but 50 Cent has come out and speaking specifically about the Mayor Adams $53 million investment in credit cards or debit cards, whatever, they're going to go to migrants to help them with basic goods. He's like, this is ridiculous. And he's looking at Trump as an alternative. Snoop Dogg has recently come out and said, Trump's all right with me, which is, that's a start. Michael Rappaport has come out and been like, Trump is on the table, and he's the maddest about saying that out loud. And even Bill Maher, we've seen him make some common sense assessments of what's going on, saying this the way we're doing it right now, this isn't it. Trump is a legitimate candidate going into November. Do you think that Donald Trump is effectively broadening his support and his base right now?
Yeah, I think I don't know if the numbers are at 25% of the black vote. Remember historically, if any Republican got anything above single digits, that was a small miracle, right? So, but even if he gets 15%, it's over, right? I mean, then you don't win Georgia because you're probably not going to get Atlanta, right? And you don't win Pennsylvania because you're not going to get Philadelphia. I could go through the cities, but the problem for Biden is it's not so much these voters going over to Trump, it's them not showing up and voting for Biden at all, or they go to a guy like RFK Jr., which I've said from day one, a third-party candidacy will absolutely hurt Joe Biden more than it will Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has loyal base core support. Joe Biden doesn't have that, right? And then when blacks start to flee him and Hispanics start to flee him and independent voters are fleeing him, that NBC News poll, Trump's up 20 points among independents. I mean, again, good night. Now, I'm not saying that he wins because I would have predicted that in 2020 at this time because we really weren't talking much about COVID at this point. So 1,000 things can happen between now and Election Day. But if it were held today, he wins and he wins easily.
For sure. Joe Biden being the opponent on the other side, is there any doubt in your mind that Joe Biden is the guy in November?
I just wish there was somebody. Like a backup. Where's Brock Purdy, right? I'll throw like where's that great backup? Tom Brady, for that matter, right? That could just step up and take over for Drew Bledsoe and then lead the team to a Super Bowl. I don't know who that is. I mean, Gavin Newsom, there's just something very unlikable and very condescending about him. And then once you even remotely start to peel the onion off as far as his record in California, I don't think he could step in and suddenly just energize this party. I hear about Michelle Obama, but I've talked to two people privately that are very close to the Obamas, and they said that she absolutely wants no part of this. None. Very happy in her life. She's not about to step into this. Very happy with her Netflix documentary Emmys and living on a mansion in an estate the size of a small country in Martha's Vineyard.
Praying that climate change thing doesn't actually affect their home.
Nope, not at all. Right on the water. Very nice. So I don't think she gets in. I don't think Newsom's the answer. The only person I might entertain is Gretchen Whitmer, and you say, I want her. Well, again, we're talking about the skinniest kid at fat camp at this point. Like, that's probably the best option, but how they're going to do this, what, on the convention floor, delegates suddenly, Biden announces, I can't run, I got a health
Doesn't Joe
problem.
Biden have to participate in it, though? It can't be done without his public blessing, right?
Yeah, you ever try to take the keys away from your grandpa when he's trying to drive and you're like, he just hit like 3 cats over the last week? You're like, wait, grandpa, you can't drive anymore. He's like, no, you're not taking these keys from me. Joe Biden will say, I beat this guy last time. I won by 7 million votes, right? I got 81 million, if you want to believe that. And there you go. So why are you replacing me when I've shown I could beat him? So it's a decent argument.
Yeah.
So I think it's Trump versus Biden. We could try to rethink this over and over again, but it's just getting later and later in the game.
It is. It's going to be wild, of course, now through November, but we love having your opinion always here on it because it's always fiery and straight to the point. Last question I have to ask you before we let you go.
Yes.
Chiefs or 49ers?
I always have a definitive pick.
Uh-huh.
But I've had definitive picks over the past 2 weeks where I definitively picked the Buffalo Bills to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I definitively picked the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes keeps proving me wrong. He's starting to have this Michael Jordan aura where he doesn't lose big games, right? I know he lost the Super Bowl a couple of years ago to Brady. But at this point, I don't know if he loses again in these situations. So all things considered, I think the 49ers are the better team. But Mahomes scares the hell out of me. So flip a coin, and I'll say the Niners win 27-24, but I say that with zero conviction, Annie. Who do you got?
I don't. Chiefs, I guess. We're kind of Chiefs country here. Yeah. Sitting in St. Louis, I'm just like a woman scorned with the NFL. The Rams, we're huge Rams fans, and that whole thing ended very poorly. But
you have the Battlehawks.
Yeah. Amen to that.
They draw well
yes.
there, don't they? 40,000
The Battlehawks do get a lot of caca, as we say. Caca is the law here. You went in a deep cut there. I appreciate that. Last question. Taylor Swift, do you care? Is she a conservative psyop? Are you angry at her? What's your thoughts?
Here's my thoughts. Even if she comes out and endorses Joe Biden, I think it has almost little to no effect. Because think about who her voters, who her main audience is.
Who she'd change her to mind?
Yeah, well, teenage girls who can't vote, okay? And then even if it's like young adults, most people that go to Taylor Swift concerts are probably already Democrats. In other words, she's not going to convince any like Trump supporters to come over. And then a lot of her voters, also young adults, think that Joe Biden is a war criminal. So if Taylor says vote for him, it's like, well, either you already have them or they don't like Joe. So I think she probably... She may like have like a tacit endorsement, but I can't see her openly like going nuts and like campaigning with him and everything. I just think there's nothing but downside if she does that for herself, her career, her reputation. Yeah. Michael Jordan once said, Republicans buy sneakers too, and it's true.
That is 100% true. Joe Concha, we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks, Annie. 2 Jordan references. I'm on a roll.
Yeah, well, those are always welcome here as well. Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
Bye. Joe Concha, Fox News contributor. Did not have the Battlehawks on my Monday bingo card, but I certainly should have. Shame on me. Caca for all y'all. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins.